So here I'm going to show a few apps that are here in Piano Play Misc. I'm going to start off with one called Edgewise. So Edgewise is a little app it's for people who can't get a word in edgewise. It's people who want to hold a conversation and they want to give each person a time to talk, and they might want to have it taper in and taper out the amount of time. So these are done in minutes. Let me just start this going to show you what it's doing. This little marker is slowly moving across that. It'll take 1 minute to go across this little block here. And you can, of course, you can adjust these times as you want. Let me speed it up here for a second and just show you that when it gets to 10, it makes some sounds. And it'll give you a little chime. And go to the next person. And then John gets to talk for 2 minutes. And this just solves a simple problem. It's designed you can do it over the internet with replicas. I'm not going to show that right now, but it will synchronize it. You can adjust these times to your liking, pause, etc. Not that much to it, simple app, but just a good idea that solves a real world problem for a lot of people. It can be used with, it's been used with couples counselors where the couples actually will record themselves during this session, and if anything goes off the rails, they can bring it to their couples counselor and talk about it, but mostly it allows people to have the kind of conversations that they often have to pay someone to sort of manage. They can have those more at home when they have challenges. There are lots of people with challenges with this sort of thing. Let me go to another app. This one is one I did for fun, and it's basically designed to communicate a philosophical concept, which is pleasure and pain implemented in a computer. So it's called P&P, for pleasure and pain, and basically you can, I have the little sliders here, and these sliders were done, this was done a while ago before browsers had a little slider control, so I built one. And this is designed to show the terms that you use here for positive or negative reinforcement, or you could just say, positive and negative. Or you could go all anthropomorphic and say make happy or make unhappy. And I have cute little graphics I did. What this is supposed to do, let's just put it here with negatively and positively reinforced. You can basically train it by clicking on these buttons, and it will send out essentially a neural signal. And if it hits one of these light bulbs, it lights it up. And you see these, where it travels, it lights it up in color. It's thought of as warm while it still has orange. You notice it fades out as it becomes cool. And what that means is that when it's warm, you can positively reinforce it. And what that's going to do is that's going to make the warm neurons grow, which makes them more likely to be followed, which is essentially training it. And of course the idea and the thing that people are supposed to the takeaway from this is that pleasure and pain, the concept of reward and punishment, or even pleasure and pain, it is really just a simple mechanism, and you can use it to train it. Here I'm going to positively reinforce it, or I can inflict pain by saying, I don't want it to do that again. So you're negatively reinforcing it and making it less likely to follow that, to make the same decision in the future. So it's just sort of a philosophical concept. My 6-year-old loves this, just to play with it. You can do it this way, where you don't actually see the grid, but you can still train it, and it's kind of like training a dog. It does what you want. You say, I like that. Reinforce. You don't really see what it's doing until you turn that back on. It's got some settings here. You can randomize it a little bit more or less, speed it up, slow it down, but it's supposed to simply show what happens in our brains in a very simplified way. This is done just with, these are just divs with rounded corners. It's not anything super fancy. For some reason it runs kind of clunky now on Chrome. I don't know why it didn't back when I made it 10 years ago, but such is life. So it's on Safari and running a little smoother now. Another thing I did some years ago is, this is a typing tutor. This is to teach you typing. And we can, here I have it just working in lowercase and it's doing green eggs and ham. You can put text in here. It can time you. It can tell you not just how fast you do for your whole thing, but just like if you do a really fast 15-second period, it'll cache that. So as I'm typing, what I do is you can see my hands are on the home row and it's showing me, like for instance, okay, I can see where to do S, I can see where to do A, but here, M, it's saying, okay, that's the finger that's on the J, but I want to move it down to M, and then space. And this is a really good way to learn touch typing if you don't know it. And my daughter uses this. I actually painted orange on her Chromebook keyboard. There it shows when I made a mistake. It just shows it in red. I still have to do it. And it's keeping track of how many words per minute I'm doing. But it's, the main thing is it just guides you. And as I said, I painted a little bit of orange on the keys of her Chromebook so that she sees where the home row is. Since she's 6 years old, it's, she's not quite as capable of keeping her fingers in the right place, but she can at least see where the keys are, and she learns very quickly where the letters are. And, I just have this here doing it in lowercase. I'm not worrying about punctuation or anything like that. But anyways, as you get faster, you can time yourself and treat it like a game, but the more important thing is just to help you learn to type quickly. And I think that's a really useful skill. Next one is my little trivia app I worked on. This is something that I'll just start off with a demo. And it was designed to work on a phone especially, but it can work on different screens. But I worked really hard on making it so it could be an app with a web interface or a embedded web view, but that would be very smooth. And this is just kind of automatically running. It changes the background images just to sort of images I pulled out of Wikipedia that are Creative Commons, and it asks the questions in order. Oh, that's odd. It doesn't have a question. Doesn't have them filled in. And some of the questions are designed to be in order. You notice these are in order from smallest to largest, but other ones are randomized each time. And it's designed so that you can press the answer as quickly as you can. This is just playing automatically. I don't have the gameplay actually working in here right now. You can, let's go in here just to see some of the things I did. Now, I got some writers for this. I actually had a client paying me to do this after I proposed it. It never saw the light of day, really. It still may. I technically own it now. But the writers created all these questions, and I paid them very little per question. And I actually managed some things to keep track of the even whether I paid what I paid them and all that sort of thing. But you can edit them right in here. It's pretty simple. I can, if I want to look at these without the answers shown, I can turn off the answers until I click on it. And they all tend to have, as many as possible have links to, say, Wikipedia or what have you that explains in more detail. And what else? We put some things, fixed order, that's whether they're randomized or not. The difficulty, that's just an estimate. And we have categories for them. I can show all the stats of all the categories. You can see I got a lot of Star Trek and Star Wars questions. So anyways, this is just one more thing that is something I've worked on and done a lot of hacking in JavaScript to make it work. And like many of the things I've shown, long story why it never saw the light of day, but at least I got paid a little bit to work on it, and technically still own it, so I may do something with it.